of law. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everyone and everything in between. This is Roger That. Today is Tuesday, the 13th of December. We're halfway through this month, almost through the year, and I'm very excited about our guest this week. We have a mutual, we had a mutual love for Disney. I'm kind of pissed. She still loves it. But ladies and gentlemen, the funny, the awesome Miss Mo Meltz.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Pleasure.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said pleasure to be here, but go ahead. This is your show. You talk.
Pleasure to have you. And I appreciate that. But you can feel free to talk. And so it's a conversation. We're friends. We can just bullshit. That's fine. This is uncensored, so don't watch your mouth. So the biggest reason I had you on is because I know you're a Disney fanatic and you're hardcore into it, as I kind of sort of am. But this past weekend, I went back for the first time since the before times, for lack of a, and I was very disappointed in a lot of things. Very disappointed, which kind of sucks because I went from hating Disney to loving Disney to now being very unhappy. I can't say hate, but very unhappy with the state of a lot of things. So as you're a DVC member, you go often. What's your opinion on the changes from then? From the before times.
I did go down there more than once during the pandemic, so I got to take advantage of when they were keeping everybody 6 feet apart instead of fill in every available space. So the last trip that I went and we had to fill in every available space again, it was a little disheartening.
I agree, only because I hate people, and I just don't want people that close to me. Now, forget about COVID. I just don't want people that close to me.
Then you should not Disney World.
Yeah, we spent 3 days in the parks, and that was way more people-y than I wanted it to be. It was actually fairly. I've seen it a hell of a lot busier. Like, we were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday and Friday were a little lighter, so fucking Saturday was crazy. Saturday was nuts because the Christmas parties and stuff.
Right.
But as far as the during the COVID things, me and my son went to see a race at Daytona Speedway because we lived 2 hours from it. And it was great. They spaced everybody out. When we left, I got in the car. We were parked right behind the grandstand. I got onto I-4 without my wheels stopping from my parking space after a race at Daytona. I mean,
right.
Nobody. I loved it. And now it's people-y again. But
I say for the Florida Department of Transportation, the way that they fixed all those roads in that whole area leading up to like when you're going from Orlando and you're driving into Lake Buena Vista, Kissimmee, that whole area. I am so happy that they added all those extra roadways and ramps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember road tripping when I was a kid. You're driving from New York, you pass the 100 south of the border billboards. You never saw such a place.
Yep.
And, as soon as you get to Daytona and you got to go off I-4, it's like another 3 hours. Now, at least it's only about, an hour and a half, hour 20.
They've made some improvements. Like I head south from or west from because I'm in Tampa. So
okay.
It still sucks between Orlando and Tampa. I mean, it'll come to a complete standstill stop for a zero fucking reason. Reason.
I did start flying into Tampa Airport because now that Disney doesn't do the Magic Express anymore, that's a boo. I just find it more cost effective to, especially since I'm paying for myself, my children, whoever we're bringing with us, to fly to Tampa. And then the same car service for like an extra $50 will take us from Tampa Airport to Disney.
And what's funny is, like, I get cheaper flights sometimes going out of Orlando, which is weird.
I don't do the red eyes. I don't do the 6 a.m.s anymore, and
all 6 a.m. That's my flight.
I have humans. I have to get on an airplane.
I don't give a shit. I've dragged them fuckers onto the plane. I don't care. I'll give them coffee so they move. And then when they're on the plane, I give them Benadryl. This is all hypothetical. I would not actually drug my kids with Benadryl so they fall asleep on a plane.
But I would totally give them coffee. Get your ass up. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I've done that. I will drag them or ass early flight. That's me.
My kids are road trippers. Ever since they were little, they were doing 18 hours in the car, no problem whatsoever. So they don't have a problem with that. It's just, it really all just comes down to me no longer liking the 95 thing, but when they're old enough to drive, fine, you drive.
See, I still road trip. I road trip all the time because for us, a lot of times it's cheaper a lot of times to drive, especially because we have holidays and stuff. I still got family up there. So it's cheaper for us to drive most of the time, even from Tampa. And
Right.
Talk about the drive. Once you got onto I-4 off of 95, it was like 3 hours. That's the worst part of the drive is you
Right.
cross the border into Florida and there's still 4 hours, like 4 hours at highway speed to go, which, but I still drive. I drove up this year. I made 4. I think actually in the past 12 months, I think I've done 5 round trips. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I'd rather spend 20 hours in a car than 2.5 hours on a plane. I'm Polish, by the way.
It's a lot easier. Oh, good. Well, that makes sense then. It's a lot easier. I think it was 15 years ago when they built the express either way lane around DC. Thank God, because DC was ridiculous traffic. The only thing they used worse than that was LA.
Until now, when you look at that and all those toll roads that they built are all church priced. So I've seen prices as high as like $60. It's ridiculous.
Like the Garden State Parkway everywhere.
No, at least the Garden State Parkway, you got to throw coins at a machine.
I don't know if you could still do that. I think now they take like a kidney as you go through each toll.
I don't know. Last time I was on there, I didn't throw any change in. I just kind of did the motion like I was throwing change, and I didn't get a ticket. So.
Well, while we're complaining about road tripping and you being a Florida person, this is to you and your Sun Pass.
Thank you. Why do you dislike Sun Pass?
Because it's not a fucking easy pass, which is what everything else on my entire drive takes.
Guess what? It all takes Easy Pass now. Not only that, but my Sun Pass works all the way up.
Really? That's a new one.
It was I think it was last year or maybe the year before when they put it into play.
Then I take back my middle finger towards your Sun Pass.
Hey, you can still give Sun Pass the middle finger because I give Easy Pass the middle finger because not only, they charge me for the toll, but since I'm out of state, I pay the full price plus a service charge. Yeah. I don't Easy Pass discount.
Okay, what's the furthest you ever road tripped?
In one shot solo, Arizona, Surprise, Arizona to Tampa, Florida, which is a little over 2,000 miles.
Okay, you win. I was going to say Long Island to Louisville was for me, but like just a straight, not bad. It was 18 hours with 2 small children in the car.
Well, one of my personal aspirations is to complete a cannonball run from the Red Bull Garage in New York to the Portofino Inn in Los Angeles, which is one hell of a trip. Just in case you were curious, the current record for it is 25 hours and 53 minutes. Or is it 25?
No,
it's less than 26 hours.
New York to LA should be at least 2 days.
Not if you cannonball and.
That's bullshit. What do you, I don't think that there's enough cocaine out there for me.
The gentleman that did it is a guy named Arnie Toman and Doug Tabbitt. They were in the news. I've talked to Doug a couple times. I had him on my old show. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I had a guy on Ben Charlie Safari Wilson, who was a cannonball legend. He ran an event called the C2C Express, and these fucking animals, they go for time. And when I say they go for time, they're putting aircraft radar on the cars, night vision, laser jammers, radar jammers. They're putting $100,000 in technology into the car to make that run. They're paying people as spotters, and they're not just getting in the car and driving like we normally would.
Right.
I guess mortals would. I'm not doing it for time. There's no fucking way. I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy. I'm not that crazy.
If you haven't been pulled over in Virginia yet, you will be.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. If you look at the routes that cannonballers take, they don't go through Virginia, and there's another state that's fucked that they don't go through.
Okay.
And like I said, the two starting points. It's either the Red Ball Garage in Manhattan, or what's called the Good Wives Shopping Center in Darien, Connecticut. And both of those routes do not take you through Virginia. I've gotten all over.
Convenient to go to California from Connecticut via Virginia.
Yeah, there's no good route. There's none. But fuck Virginia, because I've gotten tickets in Virginia. What about you?
Yes. I'm trying to think. The only state that I haven't gotten in might be South Carolina, that I was actually let off with a warning.
Oh, nice. See, I've made the drive so many times that I have it timed out. Of course, I use Waze and laser radar detector. So except for in Virginia, because it's illegal,
Right.
but I use whatever technology I can readily access and afford. I'm not putting fucking anti-aircraft radar on my car, but I have it timed out. If I leave Florida to drive to New York, 3 p.m. is the leave time. If I'm driving back, 9 p.m. is the leave time coming back. And it all hinges around avoiding traffic in DC. That's
Well, once you get out of Manhattan, then you're past like that hump, at least the New York part of it, and then you're good until you hit Daytona, aside from DC.
Well,
this is North Carolina. Doesn't I-95 go down to just 2 lanes from the 3?
Yeah. In some parts of North and South Carolina, it does. Actually, I think in some parts of Southern Virginia, it does. But, the times I go, when I leave at 3 p.m., I'm hitting DC at about 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it's before their rush hour. And when I'm hitting New York rush hour, all the traffic's coming the opposite way. So usually I don't have too bad of a time getting out onto the island.
All
and
right.
Same thing. I leave at 9 p.m. I'm through DC by, 2, 3 in the morning. And then the only big city I hit after that is Richmond.
Mm.
When I hit Florida, I don't take 95 to 4. I go the back way.
I figure.
Yeah.
You don't have to go straight down and then across. You can go that, I don't even remember.
US 301 to I-75.
Okay.
So I take I-10 a little out to 301, and I take 301. 301 cuts southwest and puts me right at 75, and I live right off of I-75, so it's convenient.
Just for funsies, the next time I drive to Florida, I think I'm going to take like that 5-hour detour out of my way, just because I've never actually been to Alabama.
Just don't. You know what? Actually, if you're gonna go to Alabama, if you want to see Alabama, my recommendation is to go to It's a town right near Huntsville. They have a minor league baseball team called the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Oh.
And the mascot is a raccoon.
Well, I mean, I just went to Iowa, so I'm willing to check out anything.
Now I've been to Alabama though, and make sure you bring your cousin. That's it. That's all I'm saying is make sure you bring your cousin.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, the times I've been through Alabama, it's usually at night. So I'm driving through Alabama because I'm not stopping in Alabama. Although I did stop at a Buc-ee's in Alabama. And if you don't know what Buc-ee's is, you need to learn.
I know what Buc-ee's is because I was on Knock 'em Dead, and Tony Walker had somebody ship him the Reese's peanut butter chocolate, not Reese's, but the Buc-ee's peanut butter chocolate concoction, and we had a taste test on the show.
Okay. Nice.
Fair enough, right?
And that absolutely. And that's the Buc-ee's I stopped at was in Alabama. And they had just opened it, and it was like 2:00 in the morning. So they didn't have any fresh food cooking. I mean, it was literally like opening weekend, and it was my trip back from Phoenix. And I was kind of disappointed, but still at the same time in awe. There's now one in Daytona. There's one in up near St. Augustine, right over by the World Golf Village. And been there, and you got to get beaver nuggets. When you go, you got to get beaver nuggets.
That sounds like something I would have to see my lady doctor for.
No, not in this case. That would be beaver chunks.
Oh,
Definitely
okay.
description for that one. Beaver nuggets are kind of like a corn-based crunchy snack that's like sweet, a little bit sweeter than kettle corn, but it's a little sweet, little salty. It's good. It's crunchy. Oh, they also just crunchy,
Crunchy.
crunchy. It's crunchy.
I think you're losing a bit of your New York there, Mr. Southern California, or
I'm the best
and
I.
Coast California.
I'm doing the best I can to hide it. But they actually opened up one in just outside of Darlington, South Carolina, right off of 95. I think it's Darlington.
Yeah.
So now there's one right on 95.
Well,
But anyway,
top of my Cracker Barrel in Raleigh. I will just continue on down to South Carolina and get my Buc-ee's.
I love Cracker Barrel. You know what I've been on lately on the road? Waffle House.
I physically cannot handle Waffle House anymore.
Really?
Oh God, it's just I can't do truck stop food anymore. I can't do Shoney's. I can't do any of
But
those like locations. Like even Wawa is sketchy for me now.
oh, really? See,
Yeah.
I love to me, Wawa is the greatest thing because they now have them all over here. And
Mhm.
I used to work a lot of overnight, so to get some sort of relatively fresh food that wasn't McDonald's, it was amazing when they first started opening up. I can get an actual sandwich,
Mm.
which I'm a fan of.
I don't know. When we were in Iowa, there was a get and go across the street from a come and go. So they had all the bases covered there
Sounds like would need to see a doctor after visiting those two locations
for their beaver nuggets.
for their beaver nuggets or beaver chunks. Beaver chunks.
Chunks.
So the big reason why I brought you on is to talk about the experience I had at Disney. And I, like I said, when I was younger, we went one time when I was a kid, and it was in 1992. It was a business trip for my father, so we came down. It was going to be near Disney. We stayed. It was the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress, which is still there and still an amazing hotel. But we had no fucking idea what we were doing. We didn't know anything about Disney, so we kind of just wandered around. So I would classify that experience as kind of just, it was all right, But my wife was big into Disney, and I got to be honest with you, and I've told her this, I fucked up. She wanted a Disney honeymoon, and I was dead against it. Dead against it. And the compromise was we came to Orlando, we went to downtown Disney one day, but my thing was there's more to do in Florida than Disney. So we went to Daytona and went to the Speedway and got in the race car and went around the track and went to Kennedy Space Center, came down to Tampa, saw some friends, went to Busch Gardens, went to Universal. I should have done the Disney honeymoon.
I got one better than you with that. I got married there.
My condolences.
I would redo my wedding every single day if I could. It was amazing. I got married at the Grand Floridian. We had a reception at the boardwalk, bust everybody into Epcot. They were still doing illuminations at the time, and we all got to watch illuminations. I would redo my wedding every single day without the fucking groom.
Smart. However, if you ever decided to get married again, just know I am an ordained minister.
That's nice.
I don't recommend marriage. I mean, it's an institution. Who the fuck wants to be institutionalized?
I was kind of figured it was like a one. I am pretty damn happy. I have a amazing partner, at least, that I would like for that to be a forever and ever kind of thing.
She is amazing. I love her. She's awesome.
Hands off, mister. She's mine.
I'm not. Hey. I'm not trying to move in on it. Although,
nah,
she made me laugh fucking harder than anyone else has ever made me laugh. Absolutely. And we'll keep that forever. I'm not moving in on you, girl. Don't worry about it. I'm married.
Well, I do believe that Emily will finally get down to Disney in April. So thank God. She's supposed to be coming with us on the trip, but the last two trips that she was supposed to come on, both of them were supposed to be her first time. One, I died, and the other one, we sat on the plane at LaGuardia on the runway for 5 hours.
Wait, rewind a little bit. You died?
Yeah, I went into septic shock. Old story. That was like a whole year ago. I got better.
Oh, no, I do remember that, and I'm glad you're better.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, just don't die. That's not cool. It's not
Would
cool.
not recommend. Would not recommend. Like, it was cool. I had my white light moment. Like, the whole thing was awesome. But man, it hurts like hell for your body to fix itself after that.
I would I would say, yeah, it probably does suck a bit. I've never died. I've come close, but not as close as you have. I've come close where I've heard, like, bullets whiz past my ear, and you know been
Out
beaten
that
up. No, it was North Carolina. Same
same
thing.
difference.
Same shit.
It's all south of that Mason Dixon line.
Manson Nixon line. It's
Uh,
more like it.
yeah. Wasn't Manson mostly in LA though, with the
Yeah,
ranch?
but still, they're all fucking weirdos.
Oh, okay. So that clearly registers a line of latitude. Got it.
Yes, Manson Nixon, Charles Manson, Richard Nixon, as opposed to Mason Dixon. Don't remember their fucking first names, but who cares?
Speaking of Disney, now I'm going to throw this out there just for funsies also. You know their Port Orleans resort?
Yes, I've stayed there.
Okay, so they have the French Quarter, which was the original Port Orleans. The other side of it, the Port Orleans Riverside, used to be called Dixie Landing.
Yep.
And they had the plantations, and then what did they call the essentially what was the rustic slave quarters? What the hell did they call, like Magnolia Bend or something like that?
So yeah, I stayed there. I stayed there after they changed the name. So it was Riverside when I was there, and I actually stayed on the Riverside side. Yeah, Riverside side.
Well, there's two sides to the river.
Correct. Correct.
There might be front and a back, but that's way too far away for me to think about.
Yeah, I stayed at Coronado Springs this last time around, which wasn't bad.
All right. I like Coronado. When we got married, that was like the hotel that we put our guests in, like the moderate ones. I own at Animal Kingdom and Saratoga.
Okay.
I can't wait for the Disneyland Hotel DVC units to go up because, oh man, if I could afford them, I would love to get a piece of California.
Okay.
But aside from that, I think I've done all the monorail resorts. I've done all the Epcot area resorts. I have not done like the Riviera yet. I never stayed at the Fort Wilderness, stuff like that. But I've done a lot of them.
The Wilderness Lodge, not the Fort Wilderness Campground, but the Wilderness Lodge is my fucking favorite hotel on that property.
And I thought that too. And then I stayed at the Polynesian.
Well, that's my second favorite, and probably what wins the Wilderness Lodge over for me is really just the architecture. Now, what's funny is the Wilderness Lodge and the Animal Kingdom Lodge are the same fucking hotel.
But the Grand Floridian is nothing like the Grand Californian, because the Grand Californian actually looks like the Wilderness Lodge.
And the what you call it, Grand Floridian looks like the Hotel del Coronado in San Diego.
Yes. I stayed at the Grand the last time and I loved it, but I'm also staying in DVC Villas. So we camp out at our hotel for however long we're there. We get the kitchen, the washer dryer, the whole thing. And my kids, we've done the parks a lot, so we don't mind spending a day at the pool.
Okay. That's kind of where we're at. Like me, it's no longer about going on the rides and, we got to go on this ride, we got to go on that ride. Yeah, the rides are, I'm sorry, the attractions, they're not rides. But doing that, we did that the first couple trips, was like, oh, we got to be here, we got to do that. But now, after being there so many times, because we were pass holders for a couple of years and living so close, I mean, it's an hour away, so we were there a lot. I got to sit back and really enjoy like everything else. Like one of the big disappointments from this trip is the lack of live entertainment.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a band starts playing somewhere, or somebody's singing, or the cleaning crew that paints characters with water on the sidewalks, and all that shit that made it so special is gone, and it just felt very sterilized and just
they were behind, like at least during COVID, like the janitors, whatever they are, the guys who, with the trash cans, they were like roped off, and when all of that was happening, it was It was questionable. I mean, this last time that I went, I was there in August last, and it was like the friendships weren't all the way running. So like we couldn't get from the Grand Floridian to maybe what forgive me, I have a lot of cold medicine in me right now, and I have Disney and
So I'm good.
and I have like 120 days until I'm back home. So, but it's the increase in prices has got me pretty.
You know what it is? It's not just the increase in prices. Like that's the biggest, probably the biggest thing that really annoyed me was back when, when we first started going as a family was 2006.
Mm-hmm.
When we really started going. And before I moved here in 2011. So from 2006 to 2011, we went every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was expensive. And everyone's like, oh, why do you go to Disney? It's so expensive. To me, there was value in it. Like I didn't feel ripped off. I felt like I got my money's worth, and with the dining plan and all that like now, like with the ticket prices, the hotel prices, no dining plan, paid for everything out of pocket. It's like I left there on Saturday not feeling like I got my money's worth. I felt screwed. And tacking on $40 to park a car for 2 nights. Get the fuck out of here. Shit. Just, because we were staying in the hotel, we didn't have to pay at the parks. But even at the parks, it's $25 to park a car
in normal person parking areas.
Yeah. Well, I'm normal person. I don't spring for the VIP shit.
I'm lucky. I still get my 20% discount with everything, and parking is free for me everywhere in Disney as long as I have an active reservation.
Okay.
So that works out for me at least. But I'm on a lot of Facebook pages and stuff like that. And even the DVC people are bitching about how everything's been taken away from them. I do. I love Disney, and I love the experience of being in Disney. And once I'm in Disney, I think it's absolutely amazing. And I'm very good at planning for Disney. So that makes the whole rest of the vacation a lot more enjoyable. But I'm going in April, and I got the tickets before they hiked it. 3-day non-park hopper tickets, $433 a person.
That's insane.
Yep. I have 2 kids who are now both over the age of 10, so I have to pay full price for them.
Ain't that grand?
I'm so sorry.
Maddie, who's listening in Brisbane, Australia. What's up, Maddie? Maddie says, hi, Mo. I don't know. That's Mo. You should know Mo. Maddie, you should know Mo. Come on.
Good day, Maddie.
Good day.
Yeah, with my thick Long Island accent.
Hey, good day. Hey, I got your good day right here.
Forget about it. Shrimp on the barbie, my dick.
But the whole thing, like, it felt like it didn't feel like Disney. It was just weird. I guess Maddie says, good day, mate. Good day, mate. It felt weird. And, the prices being so high, the nickeling and diming for everything, and the lack of the live entertainment was really a fucking bummer. I was looking for the Jaminators or whatever the fuck. Because I used to enjoy, seeing that. And once I started not rushing to go on rides and to really step back and see the parks for what they were, and what, the little hidden things, not just the hidden Mickeys, but the attention to detail, it has always blown me away. I love the history of here's a fun fact. You stayed at the Grand Floridian. What music video was filmed at the Grand Floridian?
I really want to say Elton John. No. Okay. Then go ahead.
The Beach Boys, Kokomo.
The one with Uncle Jesse?
Yes. Watch it. Watch the video again. It was filmed at the Grand Floridian right before it opened. And all of the people there watching the concert were all cast members. But watch the video. That is Uncle Jesse at the Grand Floridian playing with the Beach Boys.
I can't believe I got the Uncle Jesse thing right. That's really cool.
Well, how do you not know?
So Disneyland um they had an incredible 35th anniversary thing, and it was like I was 4, I think, when it happened, maybe 3. So of course my mom recorded it off the TV on VHS. But we were talking about like the actual, like, Julian Lennon, the Pointer Sisters, uh, David Hasselhoff. Like, it was incredible, and it was the spectacular Disneyland thing. And that is still the thing that I will watch. Like, I found it on like YouTube and Hulu. Like, I will still watch Disneyland's 35th anniversary just to get myself into that mood of like, yes, we're going to Disney. Everything is so awesome. Did you Disneyland as with a family?
I have never been to Disneyland.
Okay. If you want to recapture that more classic, idealized Walt Disney version of what this experience is, go to Disneyland, because it is. My girls and I went, but this was before the pandemic, so I don't know if stuff changed, but it was 40 characters walking around the park that met us easily. Like, it was not waiting in line to shake Mickey Mouse's hand, you know?
Yeah. See, now that's something I never did with my kid. We never waited online. The only time we met with the characters was at a character meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we ended up not canceling. We had Crystal Palace reservations. It used to be one of my favorite places. And my sister-in-law, who is exactly like, she's like a shorter version of you, like hardcore DVC member. They were there with us this weekend. She just had a baby last year. This was her baby's first trip to Disney. They went to the Crystal Palace before we got there, and she's like, cancel your reservation. She's like, it was shit. The food was shit. It was $60 a head.
Yeah.
The food was shit. Now, again, I don't mind the high prices if it's worth it. And shitty food just to see Winnie the Pooh. I mean, no offense, Winnie the Pooh, but you ain't fucking worth $60 a head with shitty food.
We were discussing this casually before we went on air, or whatever the hell we're on stream. This past trip, I went to the Garden Grill because my kids were like, let's just do a character meal. I'm going, okay, let's just do the Garden Grill, no problem. Great restaurant, don't get me wrong. Great food, the whole thing, fun experience. It's really cool because it rotates around the land, but I paid $65 for my then 11-year-old to eat a plate of macaroni and cheese.
Yep. Well, back in the day when they had the dining plan,
right?
We sat. My father-in-law is like a planning animal. Like, he used to, and this is before cell phones were a big thing. Smartphones were a big thing. He used to set up this spreadsheet, and he'd cut the spreadsheet up so you'd have a slip for each day broken down by hour. And he all figured out like the best value for the deluxe dining plan, just to make sure we got our money's worth out of it. But to spend $65 for a plate of mac and cheese is ridiculous.
There are some restaurants I'm glad I did with the dining plan, because I don't know if I would ever do. I love Jiku, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get to go back to it
because of the cost. I mean, it almost seems like they're pricing out, the middle class. They're completely pricing out. If you're not like willing to dump 10 grand on a vacation, you ain't shit.
Right. Or if you're not already the vacation club member, like I said, we still get our discounts, but okay. I nothing for park tickets. It is, but to me, it's still worth it. I mean, I constantly ask my kids, like, where do you want to go on vacation? We want to go to Disney. I finally convinced them at least that in a couple of years, we'll go to Aulani, which is the Disney DVC resort in Hawaii. Right. Yeah. So we have to save a couple of years worth of points in order to be able to do it. So we're like, you know what, when we go in April, this upcoming trip, that'll be our last trip for a while. But then again, knowing me, I'll be like, get in the car, kids. Come on, let's go to Disney.
See, but and being so close, like I said, we haven't been there. I think we hadn't been there since 2018 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
And the price of the tickets, price of everything. But it just, it's gotten so expensive. Now you have to have your ticket, but then you have to make a reservation for the park. You
right.
have to make
they just did away with the reservations, but you do have to get your Genie Plus to make sure that you get on certain rides. Like I miss the old Fast Pass system. I miss sending one person to run from one end of the park to the other to collect a whole bunch of Fast Passes.
See, I don't, if they kept the Fast Pass system as is, but charged a price for it, I'd be fine with that. I would be fine with that. Paying a couple extra bucks a day, for the Fast Pass access the same way they had it, just as I'd be fine with that. But they fucked it up. They fucked that up, with like, what the hell was it? My wife was telling me, like, I refuse to download the app on my phone. I'm like, fuck them. I'm a dick like that. But she was like, yeah, if we want to ride whatever, it's going to be like $13 a person. I'm like, yep. Welcome back to fucking e-ticket land where you got to buy a ticket book. It was stupid.
Or you have to do the lottery and I've had it where I've jumped on the app to do the lottery for like Rise of the Resistance, and I've gotten it, but I got like the 2:30 booking, and then the day that I'm like, oh, we'll just take our time to go into the parks or whatever, I lollygag a little bit, boom, group 18, which meant we had to leave immediately to go be in the park for it. But you have to be a planner, and you have to be comfortable with being a planner. There is no such thing as spontaneity on a Disney vacation if you have some kind of a bucket list that you're looking to accomplish any piece of.
But to me, being able to book the Fast Passes, I forget what it was, 60 days ahead, if you were had a reservation or were DVC, or I think it was like 30. I forget what the time frame was. But now it's like you have to 7 a.m. That's it. Yep. You can't do it 7 a.m. the day of. So to plan out other things like dining reservations and shit like that, where if you have a dining reservation, you try to get a Fast Pass for some, or Lightning Lane, whatever the fuck they call it. You try to get that, you're paying money for that, and it conflicts with your dining reservation. Then you're getting hit $10 ahead for the dining reservation if you can't reschedule it, if you're within that 4-hour window, whatever it is for the dining reservation. It's kind of shitty. So if they kept the Fast Pass as is and just charged a premium, I'd be fine with that. What really got to me was everybody like this, everybody staring at their phones the whole time, staring at your phones. I gotta get on this ride or make like just staring at phones the whole time. People walking around staring at their phones. I put my phone in my pocket. I didn't touch the fucking thing. My phone sends me a report every week of my weekly phone usage. The days I was at Disney, I used my phone the least amount that entire week.
Well, good for you.
Because fuck their app. I wasn't there to book shit on an app. I was there to enjoy the parks, enjoy the history. Now, one thing I want to go back to, you had said about the TV special that you found on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I have one for you that if you have not seen, you need to watch. Very much need to watch. The name of it is Welcome to the World, and it was the Disney's Magical World of Color, whatever the fuck the show was. Because Disney used to promote new shit in the parks by putting things on that weekly show. This was the opening of Space Mountain back in 1975. Lucy Arnaz, Tommy Tune, and Lyle Wagner were the three stars of it, and it is really cool, really nostalgic. It starts out with Lucy at the Polynesian, and this is back in 75, so everything was still green and beautiful, and so it starts there, and then she was staying there. Lyle Wagner was at the Contemporary. Tommy Tune, this was before Tommy Tune was even famous.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, doesn't look anything like he does now. He was at the campgrounds, and I don't know if you've ever seen Tommy Tune, or do you know who Tommy Tune is, right?
The Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
No, that's Tiny Tim.
No, Tommy Tune. Oh, please, sir, can I have some more?
No, that's Tiny Tim as well. No, that was
Oliver Twist. I'm sorry.
No, and the other Tiny Tim was, God bless us, everyone. No, Tommy Tune was a dancer. He was on Broadway, starred in a lot of Broadway productions, musicals.
Okay.
But he is 6'6" and probably weighed at the time 100 pounds. Like this tall beanpole of a dancing dude. and it was cool to see him younger. But it was like such a nostalgic blast that I'll find it. I'll send you the link. It really, it really felt cool to watch and see what things used to look like. I have a book somewhere that actually chronicled the building of Walt Disney World.
First of all, Space Mountain was my first big roller coaster. I was 7 years old and I got stuck on it.
Nice.
First big roller coaster ride, and I got stuck on it.
I think the big roller coaster I ever rode was at Hershey Park.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I miss the Hershey Park. They have I miss Hercules that was Dorney. Anyway. Yeah, but so Space Mountain, super fun. But I also have a huge preference for, I beg them every single time we're online to go onto the Omega line instead of the Alpha line, because I find Omega just that much funner. And probably because I don't have every single dip and turn memorized on it like I do on the Alpha one.
Okay. All right. Now, did you guys ride the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes. And we got the Tears for Fears song.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember what the hell song I had. All I remember is it was awesome. That it was fucking awesome.
It was great. I don't get me wrong, I loved it. I love the queue. I love the queue. Like the queues are going above and beyond now. Like, did you do Pandora yet and do Flight of Passage?
Okay, yes and no. Shortly after it opened, we had fast passes for it. Back in the days when things were still good, I couldn't fit on it.
Aw. But you did the queue at least, right?
We did the fast pass version of the queue, which cut all the fun shit out.
It was worth it to walk through that queue.
Yeah.
I would say so. But no, the Rise of the Resistance, the whole thing with that is outstanding. I love Rise of the Resistance. I like Rise better than I like Guardians, and people will fight me on that.
Well, hang on. My son rode both. He decided the day we were at Epcot, he wanted to go over and he wanted to try getting on it, which he was successful on, and he said it was absolutely amazing. I'm not a big Star Wars. I'm not into Star Wars at all. Mm-hmm. So we went through. I think we were there right after. No, I don't think we've been there since the Star Wars area opened. I think the last time we were there was just before it opened. And like, to me, I want to go to see it just to see it, but it's not like, oh my God, I got to do this. I'm not one of those people that are going to go stay at that fucking hotel. Definitely not.
The Hollywood Studios has definitely I love Toy Story Land. I love Toy Story Land. I love everything about being in Toy Story Land. But I still also love like the Tower of Terror, and I'll still go on those rides. I do miss some of the original what Hollywood Studios was when it was MGM. Not just like the backstage studio tour, but I miss like at Christmas time they did the Osborne lights. Those were incredible.
Awesome.
I found the purple cat, and I posted a picture of a memory of it from like 11 years ago. Like, I found the purple cat.
My biggest bit of sadness about Hollywood Studios is the Great Movie Ride. It was something about that, and actually part of it is we ended up taking a family trip with my side of the family in 2012. And, because like I said, the only time I went with my family was in 92, and my father wasn't in the parks with us. But now at that trip in 2012, my son was there. He was still really young. He was, 7. My daughter was not even a year old yet. So and have my father there, and my father like loved that ride. So he like fucking rode that all day, every day. Like, Great Movie Ride. He was all about it for the week we were there. And now he passed away in 2011. So I'm sorry, no, that was 2008, not 2012. 2008, we took that trip. He passed away in 2011. And I kind of got sad because it was like a little bit of sentimentality. Whenever I'd go back and ride the Great Movie Ride, I would, think of my father riding it and how much he loved it. And now it's gone, and fuck him.
It was outdated. Like, I kind of feel the same way about what they're doing with, it's no longer Splash Mountain anymore. Now they're both closed. They are doing deep
It's still
Froggenberg.
open till next month.
Okay.
Splash Mountain closes next month, and I rode Splash Mountain one last time. I had to get in. Now, let me ask you this: have you ever seen the movie
Song of the I had yes, and I actually have a bootleg copy of it.
So do I. But I was on the ride with my kids, and I said to them, like, there's a very good chance that of all the people on this line right now, you may be the only ones who have seen that movie.
Mm.
They're like, why? I'm like, so I explained the whole thing to them, that it was never released on home video in the United States. So anybody who's seen it after the original theater run has a bootleg copy.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have a bootleg copy. I can't confirm or deny whether or not I own a bootleg, because that would be illegal, and I don't do illegal things. That was for the NSA guy that usually follows me, listens to my shit. And
Oh, I don't do illegal things either. I am here legally.
yes.
Yes. No, where the hell? Oh, we were going down memory lane before that. There are certain things that Disney is just never going to bring back. That's like the original Illuminations. They're never going to bring it back. But that was the purpose of it, was to showcase each individual country. I didn't like the ball, but I hear that the new one is pretty nice. So we'll have to check it out.
Here's my take on the new one, because we stayed and watched it. If they just did the show without the fucking music, it'd be great. But it was all music from all the newer movies.
Mm.
I'm kind of half and half on some of them. I didn't enjoy it as much because it was all about IP and not about the countries in Epcot, or, I think it was trying to tell a story. But what's really weird is if you look out at the barges for that during the day, it looks like a cheap carnival. Because you got one that's a circle that looks like a cheesy looping ride is what it looks like. Now they have water effects like they have at Fantasmic,
Mm-hmm.
fireworks projecting onto the water that's spraying. So as far as that is cool, but the music just didn't do it for me at all.
I still miss too.
What's that?
I still miss Wishes.
Yeah. Wishes was great.
Wishes was amazing.
And one of my favorite things, which is, I don't know where it is now, but the Main Street Electrical
Parade. Oh my God, I love the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Fun fact about that, the music from that was not written for Disney. It was actually Disney bought the rights to something that already existed and just kind of, edited it to be the parade music. The guy that composed it, well, one of the guys, was two guys that composed it. One of the guys that was still alive had no idea for years that his music was on there. He had no
parade. That was like my favorite parade ever.
The music was fun. The floats were fun. And I don't like parades. I don't like sitting around waiting for a parade. That one I would wait for.
Mm-hmm.
That one I would wait for. All the other ones I've seen there don't do it for me at all. That and the water parade, the electrical water pageant with the float. That one just because it was cute.
I had a fun move it, shake it, celebrate it during the day, but then it's just trying to get through the hub at that point is ridiculous.
That's why you got to plan out your times. You got to look at the parade times.
Now, please, my favorite restroom in Magic Kingdom is in that breezeway between Adventureland and Frontierland, and it's also my favorite spot to watch a parade from. Just saying.
Okay. You're talking about the one, there's two breezeways, the one with the bathrooms or the one without the bathrooms?
The one with the bathrooms.
Gotcha.
Children, I need bathrooms.
Understood.
Roger, I had no idea that you were so Disney person. I know you told me, but I didn't believe you. We're carrying on like a real actual conversation here about this.
Why wouldn't you I'm not going to say something that's bullshit. Why?
Okay. No, I'm sure it's fine. No, but no, when people say like, I know Disney, and then I go to have the conversation with them, then they're like, oh yeah, who's Captain EO? And I'm like, get out of my friendship circle. I can't have that kind of negativity here.
Actually, my son asked me, he's like, what was it? What used to be in that theater? I forget what the hell's there now. We didn't see it. And I'm like there was a whole bunch of things. I said the last thing we saw in there was Captain EO with Michael Jackson and who
Mhm.
else? Trying to remember who the hell else was in that.
Don't know. I was so little.
It was directed by George Lucas. How about that
Can't
for a fact?
you were just chock full of the fun facts. Do you remember going to
I can go
MGM?
for hours.
Do you remember going to MGM when they had the Nightmare Before Christmas set out? I'm like the
No,
only person that remembers that. I swear, MGM must have just opened. So let's say it was like 1990, something like that. MGM must have just opened, and as part of like the backstage studio tour, maybe it was like one of the tours that they had. You actually went into Tim Burton had the entire set for it, and because it was Nightmare Before Christmas was stop motion, so they showed you like all the different puppets and stuff like that they used. It was I still remember that, and that I am like the only person that remembers that.
see, I don't remember that. But then again, when we went in 1992, we
Okay.
had my father's company had bought tickets. I think they bought us, it was you had 2 one-day tickets. So we went to Magic Kingdom one day, went to Epcot the other. So we didn't even go to Hollywood. Um, so I wouldn't remember that. And then the next time I went was 2006. So it was probably gone by then. One of the things I honestly, and it's gonna sound so fucking stupid, but one of the things I wish I would have seen there was when they had the Golden Girls house there.
That was the backstage studio tour. It's not even like you could go in it. It was just part of the backstage studio tour.
Care, I want to see the fucking house where they eat the cheesecake. Come on.
You
Look,
act you never did the backstage studio tour?
not until 2006. And by the time 2006 rolled around, they had already put in the lights, the car show. So you took half of that backlot tour out. That shit. Yeah, I never got to experience it before that. Yeah, I know. Sad.
I remember. I remember that from being a kid. And and they do need to update Muppet version 3D, just saying. I mean, it's classic and I love it so much, but like I get like
Yeah,
nausea.
they probably should update it, but I don't know how much to update it they should do because again, it's Muppet Vision. I mean, you're in Walt Disney World, and then the back of the building blows out, and it's Disneyland. I mean, come on.
The last time that I was in Hollywood Studios with my kids, we ate at a Pizza Rizzo's, which is like fresh out of like Queens, Brooklyn. Like it is this pizzeria, but they have like the catering room upstairs, like you would find in all these, Italian restaurants with like, the disco ball and the cheap ass decorations, and it is that whole restaurant, and it's a quick service and it's pizza that's not that good, but it is worth it to be in there. The way that they completely recreated a New York City scene like that, but in all the pictures that were hanging up they had Muppets imposed in them. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
outstanding.
I have been there. I was actually was it that was Pizza Planet before they redid it as Pizza Rizzo's, right?
Probably.
Pizza Planet for a while. The but Muppet Vision is again one of those things, and I'm kind of sad we didn't go to Hollywood Studios this time around, but it was it was a 3-day trip, and we were there with family, so we kind of tagging along with what they were doing. One thing you want to know what I really miss Pleasure Island. I miss Pleasure Island.
I never remember seeing a single person go into any of those clubs, but I was a kid, so maybe I wasn't allowed in them. But even like the comedy clubs, and I did hula hoop there right the night before my wedding. I remember that.
The we had gone there a couple of times, and we went there. We went to Pleasure Island on our honeymoon, and we had a good time, and we'd gone a couple other times. I was super sad when that closed. The comedy club was kind of cheesy because it's all Disney clean material or just toeing the line.
Not like
So
us assholes, right?
yeah, it wasn't set up for us assholes. But but like the 80s themed club, I think it was called Mannequins. That was awesome. And one of the fun stupid facts is there was a club there was a BET club, and it was obviously more urban in nature. But if you look at BET is owned by Viacom, which was a competitor to Disney. When they signed the licensing thing, it was before Viacom owned the network. Then they Viacom bought BET, and they were stuck by contract with having BET's name on the building. So there's another.
And Disney is so good at buying out and rearranging contracts, aren't they?
There's a have you ever seen epic rap battles of history on the YouTubes?
On the YouTubes?
Yeah.
I do not believe so.
Okay, it's they have, some of them are funny, but they did one. It was supposed to be Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. And then at the very end, Walt Disney comes in because Disney now owns Jim
Right.
Henson. They own whichever comic book Stan Lee was with. I don't know how to read comic books. So yeah, not at all, not fucking at all. The last superhero movie that I saw that I watched, and I'm not counting Deadpool because I don't count that as a true superhero movie, just because it's too fucking funny. The original Batman in 1989. That's the last superhero movie I willingly went and watched. I have not seen. I didn't see any of the ones with Heath Ledger. Didn't see any of the new ones. I actually want to see the Joker, the one that Joaquin Phoenix was in. I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch it. But no, I'm not into comic books or superhero movies. So there's my weird thing. But
you the Galaxy.
I never watched the movie.
But if you watch the movie, the ride would have been that much cooler.
Just really? Saying. Okay.
Yeah. The whole prequel did the whole queue and stuff like that for it was, I loved it because it was the characters. It was, and how cool is it to be like Zoe Saladin and she's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. She's part of Pandora World there. Like some of the iconic, it's like you can't ride the Tower of Terror without hearing that. No, not quite. The Twilight Zone guy. Oh my God, my head hurts.
Rod Serling.
That was it. Without hearing that, classic voice going. There were certain things that
most of his commentary in that is not Rod Serling.
I understand, but they did pull a lot of it from tracks of Tower of Terror, of Twilight Zone.
And they did a great job. And that is absolutely one of my favorites is the Tower of Terror. Now, not having seen, I've seen bits and pieces of the movie. I'm roughly familiar. I do know the movie's got a killer soundtrack. So that part of it, I really enjoyed. But I enjoyed the hell out of that ride without being able, like, I didn't know what's what on the queue. I just thought the queue was fucking awesome and the ride was fucking awesome. But I've never seen it. I've never seen Avatar. I've never seen, it's not my thing. Doesn't even interest me to see. I've seen Pocahontas, which is the same fucking movie. So there's that.
Yes. The cool thing in Disneyland, their Tower of Terror, they redid it to be a Guardians of the Galaxy theme thing. So you do the up and the down, of the Tower of Terror thing, but it's to that rock music, and it's so much more entertaining. Oh my God, can we plan a trip, please, to Disneyland? Because I have to go back so badly.
I do. I want to go now. I want to go, but I want to make sure I have enough time there to truly enjoy it. And I'm going to give you another fun fact about Disney, but this is Disneyland. This is some Disneyland history for you. Did you know that Doritos were invented at Disneyland?
I did not know that.
Now you do. Frito-Lay had a stand that they were selling. Well, they had a taco stand. There was something else, and I think somebody from Frito-Lay was there. They had a bunch of taco shells they couldn't make tacos, so they seasoned them and sold them. And they thought it was fun. So that's where Doritos come from.
There you go. I knew that it was the home of the Dole Whip. And then I learned the history of like Queen Lalikalani or Lalikalani, and I am like, oh man, I can't enjoy Dole Whips anymore.
Yeah, you still can. I know I did. And what's fun, it's a fun thing to do. Yeah, I may have smuggled, not this trip, but in the past, I may have smuggled one of them little bottles of rum into the park and got me a Dole Whip float, and because they make the middle hollow, so you kind of take the top off and you pour the rum in. Highly recommend.
I need to measure your true Disney dorkness right now.
All right.
Thoughts on Beverly?
I like it. and I'm not ashamed to admit it. As a matter of fact, the last night we were in Epcot, my daughter's like, we got to go to the, Club Cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get some Beverly. So I went and I wouldn't drink like a full cup of it, but to have that little shot glass, that one was good. There was a watermelon one that was good. And I think I forget what the hell the other flavor, there was another flavor that I really liked, but Beverly, I don't mind I like it.
I love that they brought Beverly back. Beverly was gone for a while. I love that she's back. And anyone who's watching this or listening to this will have that's their true test of being a Disney dork. If you know Beverly, then you're one of us. You're one of our people.
Now here's a Beverly thing for you. Have you ever heard of the book? Yeah. Have you ever heard of the book The Dark Side of Disney?
Sure.
You haven't, and that's okay. You need to find a copy. You need to get it. You need to read it. The guy that wrote it is a guy named Leonard Kinsey. And on my last show, the Foo Bar show, I actually interviewed Leonard. And Leonard is known for, I don't want to use the word scamming Disney, but his book, all the tips and tricks are probably outdated, but basically how to sneak into the park, how to, scam-free park, all that shit's probably no good. But his thing is he likes gin and tonics. So he went to fucking Club Cool with bottles, filled up the bottles with Beverly, and went back to his condo and made Beverly and gin and Beverly. And it was fucking terrible.
That is two different types of bitter being merged together. I don't know. I respect Beverly. I appreciate Beverly for the beautiful concoction that she is, but I am not a Beverly. I'm happy that she's there, but she is never my choice.
Well, then I am proud to say that I will go to Club Cool and I will put Beverly all up inside me because I love it.
I would love comments on this at all. I would love to see anybody commenting on some of this stuff.
But I like it. I like the taste of it. I'm fucking weird. Come on, Mo, I'm fucking weird.
I get it. Okay. Okay. I miss the Doorway to Norway. I know Frozen's a great ride. And yes, I know the ride was called Maelstrom, but it should have been called the Doorway to Norway. And not that the Frozen ride isn't great, but I miss it.
There was something about Maelstrom. And now do you call it the Doorway to Norway because the exit, you have to go through the theater? Is that why?
No, it's just a fun rhyme.
Oh, all right. That works. No, I got to ride Maelstrom right before it closed. We knew it was closing. I think it may have been the last day. I got to ride it, and it was definitely a different experience. Now, what they did with Frozen, just if you take away the fact that it used to be Maelstrom, it's really cool what they did with the projection technology and all that. But it's fun. It's not Maelstrom. It's not. It's really not.
It's not. But it's still great. There are little things though that just our Disney is no more. Our Disney's no more. It is sad, and there is that nostalgia missing, and I'm certainly missing the 10-day no expiration tickets. I pretty much just paid the same price for 3-day no hopping.
That sucks.
I still have 9 water park and more options under my name that I guess, and it's great because it pops up every time on the app for me. But because I did 10 days water park and more included on it. So I do. I have a bunch. I did Disney Quest twice, and that was
it. Disney Quest. There's something that should never have existed.
It was okay. It was a nice respite for the kids in downtown Disney.
They opened up one, or they tried opening one up in Chicago.
Oh,
a Disney Quest. That was the test run for this concept to try and put a Disney property essentially in every major city. They wanted to make it essentially a chain like Dave and Buster's. It didn't work. Not everything Disney did worked.
No, I mean some stuff was I'm sorry that Magic Kingdom got rid of 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I'm sorry that in Disneyland they made it a Finding Nemo thing, which is cool, but again, it's not 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Well, here's to my to defend that, and it kind of goes along with Frozen, with the whatever the fuck they call the Frozen ride. It's updating it to be more relatable for the younger people. So, Finding Nemo, the kids that are into Finding Nemo have no fucking idea what 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is. I am pissed that they closed it in Florida, because on my trip in 1992, that was one of the things that I absolutely I loved. I loved the look of the boats. The ride itself I don't remember, but I remember watching those submarines go by and how cool they were, and I remember riding it. Those were built in Tampa, by the way, and shipped to Disney World by truck. So there's a stupid fact for you. And those boats still exist on property.
They are, like I said, Disneyland still utilizes them. Just they have like the Nemo projections on the windows, and they're cute and all. And you could see where it used to be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, because you could see like the relics as the submarine goes down and that whole experience. But we have to go to Disneyland. I think we just have to do this now.
I'm in. Now, speaking of things changing, so you remember when the Winnie the Pooh ride used to be Mr. Toad's, right?
Yes.
Now, do you know that on the current Winnie the Pooh ride, there is a little throwback to the Mr. Toad days?
There is a picture of Mr. Toad himself.
What's he doing?
I want to say, but no.
He's handing the deed over to the property.
Yes.
The deed to Mr. Now, here's another fun fact. Mr. Toad is buried in the pet cemetery at the mansion. Okay, you've seen that? When we were leaving the Haunted Mansion, I said to the kids, I'm like, you got to pay respects to Mr. Toad.
Who? They
know. My kids know. They don't know anything about the ride because they've never ridden it, but they know that Winnie the Pooh used to be Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. They know that.
Still in Disneyland, by the way. Just saying.
I know. Now, have you watched the movie Escape from Tomorrow?
No.
Have you ever heard of it? You're familiar with it? The look on your face and the way you said no tells me that you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
I probably have. If it's a Disney thing, I definitely have, but it might just not have registered with me.
It's not truly a Disney thing, although it is indirectly a Disney thing. Escape from Tomorrow was a horror movie that was filmed illegally on the property in both California and Florida. They filmed an entire fucking horror movie right under Disney's nose, and they had no idea until it was edited. The filmmaker had it edited in Korea, so Disney wouldn't get any word of it. And it's absolutely a terrible fucking movie. It is awful. The story sucks. The story's all right, but you could tell it was shot on iPhones in the park, but it was very well edited. Definitely worth watching just to see what they did and how they did it. But the movie itself sucked. My wife hated it, and now every time we go into Epcot, the family goes into Epcot. The father looks at the big golf ball. He looks at spaceship.
Geodesic.
What's that?
Geodesic sphere.
It is a geo. Do you know what the actual shape of it is?
I'm sure you do.
Pentakis dodecahedron.
Well, I am impressed.
Yes, thank you. Don't ask me what the fuck that means. It has to do with the groups of the triangles into groups of 5 and 6.
Correct. Oh my goodness. Very good.
Did you knew it was a Pentakis dodecahedron?
I knew that it had a very fancy polysyllabic name like that.
There you go. I'm all about the syllables.
The syllables. It's so true. I love talking Disney with you, but my phone gave me the 20% warning. I have to grab a battery.
That is okay. I'm actually I have another segment after you. We're going to do this again. We're going to talk more Disney.
I love this.
Yes. And we got to plan Yeah. So actually real quick before your phone dies, tell us about that painting that you were so proud of.
I am so proud. So this is my Mickey mantelpiece. We actually hung it up over the fireplace. I know, right? The rule is if I don't fight with people, that includes like fucking with people while I'm in Disney, I can buy a painting. I've been to Disney about 19 times. This
And
is my one painting.
all right. I used to buy my wife snow globes, not for any behavior thing, but used to buy those, and then they couldn't get them on the plane.
Mm.
So
No,
now
we collect the ears, we collect and pins. We're huge pin people.
my kids were never pin people, but we have fucking sets of ears out the wazoo. I don't own any paintings though. I mean, I would put that same thing like, hey, if I don't fuck with people, I get to buy something, but that will not fucking happen because I will never get to buy whatever it is because I fuck with people all the time.
I did
people. I'm horrible.
I did so good on my last trip until we were in Magic Kingdom during the rain. And my kids and I clearly making our way through Tomorrowland, ducking underneath like the people mover track to stay as dry as possible. And some giant shittard actually stands in front and steps in front of my children and goes to push them back. And I'm just like, no, fuck this guy. I turned to him. You can go shit in your hat. Let's go, kids.
I had almost gotten into a fist fight on the queue for Big Thunder Mountain. I had mentioned before.
Yeah.
So, the courtesy is if your group is not there, you wait till you're there and then go in. But these fucking assholes, two of them got online and started making it about halfway through the queue, and then everybody else had to cut the line and it happened to be they were right in front of me. So I have no problem saying whatever the fuck I want because I just don't care. Yeah. And I called these people cunts. I was ready to fist fight these fuckers. But unfortunately I didn't get the chance to, which made me sad, but whatever.
I did that to a 15-year-old girl in Disneyland.
We were their ass.
It was it was like the last ride that we were going to do. It was Radiator Springs, again a huge selling point for Disneyland, but so it's like there was like maybe 10 people behind us online. So this one girl runs up and then she's right in front of me and she waves in like 12 family members. And I just had it at that point. I'm like, you know what? No, you fall back. The rest of us are waiting here. Fuck you and your family. This young girl's mom gets in my face, which I don't blame her because I'm yelling at her kid. And she really put me in my place. We will be staying here and you will be backing the fuck off. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to fight the mom and the kid. And my kids are like crying. And I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm going to handle this like a grown up. I'm sorry I got upset. But it doesn't matter. Everybody was crying anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a huge fan of the pushy children. But at least like the 9-year-olds I can kind of forgive. You know?
Children you can, but these were all fucking grown ass adults.
I hate when people do that. It's so annoying. And you can't use the disabled excuse anymore.
Nope.
Even though I am happy to be done with stroller parking. Never again.
Exactly. On that note, Mo, it was great having you on. Definitely appreciate you coming on so I could shit on Disney and you could defend as best you could. And although we agreed on most of the shit,
pretty much, yeah.
I have no problem. I when I do stand up, I do a bit about Disney characters fisting each other. So I have zero chance of ever working for them. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried if I piss them off. On that note, Mo, thank you so much. Do you want to shout out any of your socials if you want people to follow you or?
Just whatever's on Facebook. And even at that, I keep it pretty private. I'm very bad at this whole social thing.
All right. You doing comedy shows? I know you perform on the occasion.
I do. I don't have anything coming up, but next Monday I will be doing improv at Vintage in Wantua on Long Island. Every other Monday night we do improv because that's really my animal. But it's a lot of fun. It's just like a workshop. Hopefully we can make something come of it. If not, you know what? That's what I get to do. And aside from that, I get invited to do the occasional show, and I absolutely love it. So thank you.
Now, is that improv thing? Is that open to the public?
Sure.
Okay, good. Next time I'm in town, I'm gonna crash the improv thing with a whole lot of improv.
All right, you just have to bring me a bag of the goofy sour cherry balls.
I will bring you goofy sour cherry balls, and because I like you this much, I'm going to bring you a bag of beaver nuggets because I think you deserve beaver nuggets.
Wow. Fuck you with the horse you rode in on too.
All right, Mo. Take care. It was great seeing you. Give my best to Emily, and I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thank you.
Bye. All right, Mo Melts, everybody. She is fantastic. I'm so happy to have her on here. I don't know if I'm still hearing noise. Oh, there we go. All right. No. All right, so we're going to continue on the show. We're going to bring back Jenica, who came on 2 weeks ago. So, by the way, sorry for not having a show last week. I had a lot going on in life and was unable to put one together. Life happens, kids. So I hope you enjoyed the show I had for you. If you are listening on the IRN, again, big shout out to Mike for having us on there. But if you were watching on that, then that was an old replay of an old FUBAR show. So I hope you enjoyed that. JJ Curry's a funny guy, still a good friend of mine. But now we're going to bring in Jenica, and we're going to talk about more adult related things. Not just, this isn't just Disney, kids. This is me saying the word cunt and talking about filthy fucking things, because that is what I do, and it's what I'm good at. And let's see, ask to start video. But now we're going to bring in Jenica. I'm hearing myself, so there's some things happening.
Not just, this isn't just Disney, kids.
Maybe
This
you
is
got
me saying the word cunt and talking about filthy fucking things, because that is what I do, and it's what I'm good at.
First.
See,
All right.
ask to start video. But now we're going to bring in Jenica. I'm hearing myself, so there's some things happening. Not just, this isn't just Disney, kids. This is me saying the word cunt and talking about filthy fucking things, because that
I'm hearing myself.
is what I do, and it's what I'm good at.
I see a hand.
Ask to start.
I see a hand.
Turning this off. I think that's what you heard. Oh, it's not on that. That's on camera. Go to the Instagram. Close that file on the X. Press X. Up top. Press
I don't know
X.
if you guys can hear me, but I can see and hear you, where I could see Jenica's hand.
You can see me?
I can see your hand
Where do I?
and your crotch. So,
Just a minute. Don't you dare say that.
well, I mean, it's you. Okay, I can see a lap because that's
Oh.
more.
Oh
accurate.
my. I have assistance, so just a moment.
Okay. We're holding on. We're waiting with bated breath.
This is video.
It's worth it, believe me.
There we go.
What was that?
Are you and you're signed in? There you go. Your pictures.
Okay.
If you look up the pictures there.
All right. Now, should I change something here?
Well, you need
I
to tilt
see
the
you.
camera up.
The camera doesn't seem to be,
Right here, baby. Scroll down and you see your picture.
well, I made the mistake of opening up a couple of windows just in case we want to refer to a couple of the topics that we were
Okay.
looking for. So we could be more efficient, of course, but
All right. Whichever camera is pointed down at your hand needs to be tilted up.
See this? Oh, line it up.
all right, let's
There we
stick with
go.
this one. Let's stick
Oh,
with
it's
this
not even on
one.
camera. Shit.
It's
you
not
go
the
to-
camera that I wanted. Hold on.
Well, go to the bottom left corner of the Zoom.
Which one is it? The Nexi or
The yeah.
Nexi Go? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's the one. There we go.
All right. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. We're
all
still working out the kinks.
That's all right.
And you know how we like kinks, but not this type.
True.
Okay.
So now that we got that, whatever you have me playing on in the background, you got to turn that off because I don't really like listening to myself. I'm not that much of a narcissistic asshole. Mildly, just not that much. So,
Okay.
We got
Do
a
you
little
still
sweater.
hear yourself?
no.
Okay.
We're good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to welcome back Jenica, who is going to give us the grand world tour of love, dating, relationships as we become further into adulthood. I don't want to say we're old. I will never fucking accept getting old as anything. I will never get old.
Yes, I mean, we're really not. I think we're just entering into the mature or stages of, just we're learning more about sex than I think we ever have before.
That is
Don't
true.
you think? I wish I knew half the things I thought I knew when I was, 25. Don't you? I mean,
Everything I know about sex, I learned from Pornhub. So, I mean,
and where was Pornhub 25 years ago when we were really looking around?
I talk about this on stage about how kids today are just so fucking spoiled because anything they want to see a guy and a girl, two guys, two girls, a guy and a goat, a guy in a fucking pickle jar. And if you get that reference, then you fucked up and I love you.
I can see what you're saying.
Exactly.
People want to search for, it's at the touch of a button. Back in my day, we had if we ran into dad's stack of new magazines, that was an achievement. Or if we found a VHS tape or, unscrambled that late.
I know. Could you imagine just seeing your grandfather's stash of, what were those little beta tapes I found at my grandpa's house? And I was like, jackpot. My God.
And that the 70s Afro bush has scarred me from
it was mortifying, but it was fantastic, wasn't it? I mean,
that was all back then. So, we had to take the good, you take the bad, take them both, and they have some Afro bush.
A lot of Afro bush. That was frightening. And then I always wondered, how did they get those? And I had no idea because, I was never a grower like that. But thankfully, now we don't have to worry about that anymore. Things like that, aren't acceptable, I think, nowadays. Really, are
back
they?
then, they either grew them themselves or they got themselves a merkin, which for those who are keeping score at home, a merkin is a pubic wig. You're welcome.
Really? Is that what it is? How do you find these things out?
The internet.
Really? A merkin?
A merkin. It's a pubic wig, and they became popular back in the Victorian era because if you had crabs, you would shave off all your pubes. So shaving wasn't a common thing. So if you were with someone that had shaved pubes, it was because they had crabs. So you would shave off your pubes and then slap a merkin on there. Good, bibbity bobbity bullshit. You got it. So
I love it. And then accidentally you wake up with a merkin stuck to your head.
I don't know. They did that back then. I can't confirm nor deny because I don't have the information, but it is possible that they may have gotten stuck somewhere. One thing that is fun for all the gentlemen out there listening, if you're with a girl who's got them fake eyelashes and she passes out, pull them off and stick them on her top lip like a fucking mustache. Because that, my friends, is fucking hilarious.
And now that is funny. That's good. Yes, that's definitely something to wake up to. That's nice.
Best part of waking up is,
and then send her on her way with some cab fare.
Don't let her look in a mirror. So what is it to speak of this evening? What do you got?
Well, I tossed it around a little bit and I was thinking, well, we have a lot of fetishes out today. And I was looking around on Play Store or the App Store, whatever you get. And there are so many fetish websites, okay, steered towards.
Just to give you an example on how things have changed, back in the day, if I told somebody to eat my ass, it was like an insult. Today, it's a fucking offer. It's like
Oh, yes. And you've been moved up the list of, people who are, desirable now. You're more desirable.
That's like one of your qualifications. Do you eat ass? Yep. All right. Good.
Yeah, yeah. And that's referred to as what? Tossing someone's salad? Is that the term?
That actually, I believe that is actually an outdated reference now.
Is
I-
it?
I-
Oh
I
my
think
God, I'm so old. Really?
I think I mean, it just comes down to the vernacular. So the kids these days will not have to disguise it by saying tossing salad, which, by the way, came from a Chris Rock comedy special.
Did it?
No, nowadays they'll direct "I eat ass." They got T-shirts, they got bump that say "I eat ass." Hey, you know,
Oh, charming.
you want to hear something fucked up about humans? We will not eat a Dorito that fell on the floor, but we'll eat a stranger's ass.
No 5-second rule or anything. No 5-second rule there. Okay.
Sorry about that. I just had I think I had a merkin stuck in my throat. Really?
A little ass hair in your throat or no?
Could be. I mean, a couple of hours today that I don't remember. I did wake up with my underwear on backwards and a rash I can't explain, but it's just another trip to the dentist. So anyway, today, it's direct, and a lot of things that were fetishes back in the day are becoming more and more mainstream. Like you said, eating ass for one. I mean, that was not a normal thing back in the day, but people
Well, technically, is that a fetish though?
It can be fetish.
If you're extremely into it and you need to do it. I mean, I wrote down some of them, right? So let's
hang on.
keep it clean, right?
Before you get to that, let me say that, a
Okay.
doesn't necessarily have to be something that's taboo. A fetish is something that is specifically appealing to you. So, some people have a foot fetish. Some people have, an eating ass fetish. So fetishes don't necessarily have to be taboo
Exactly.
or something that you don't speak of. Kinks are a little different. Kinks are the ones that are a little bit more off the beaten path, for lack of a better term. But
Mhm. I got one for you.
okay, what do you got?
Furries.
Furries. I told my kids it could be anything they want in life. Just don't be a fucking furry.
Now, let's explain what furries are.
So for
Now-
any fucking people out there that live under rocks and don't know what a furry is, furries are people who obtain sexual gratification by either dressing in or having sex with someone who is in a furry type costume, like
a mascot from
yeah.
your high school type of outfit.
Now I did see a video at one time. I'm pretty sure it was a documentary, and as a callback to my earlier guest, it happened at Disneyland Paris, where Disney characters on Disney property were simulating sex acts with each other, which is fucking hilarious. And they got jammed up because of that. So that furries it's the costume, the full-on costume. Right.
Well, yeah, like a mascot would wear, right? I mean, from head to toe. I mean, you're donning the head, the everything. I mean, my question is, are there specialty made suits at these adult stores, like with holes in them?
Not
so
that
they can keep on their costume when they have sex?
I don't know, but what I'm see what's in my head, because I always think of things either really fucked up or really practical. I'm just trying to figure out, like, if you're having sex in the suit, like, how do you clean the fucking thing? Like, at some point that fur is going to get all matted and fucked up, if you know what I mean.
Well, they have to clean each other. I think that's probably the foreplay. At least before, they've got to take care of each other and like lick each other, like cats, suppose. I mean, if you're a cat and you're into it, they must groom each other.
I think that
Right.
might be a little bit more than just furries, as somebody whose fetish is dressing up as an animal and acting as an animal, because
Yeah,
there are fetishes, big little fetishes where, one party will be the older caregiver type and the other one will basically act like a baby. And some of these people,
exactly. Well, that's what I told you about that vet site, that particular, well, there's a lot of, there's a lot of different sites, but you can really have a ball just taking those tests to figure out, all these different types of fetishes that you can have, as far as, how submissive you are, how dominant you are, how, what you're into as far as would you like to be someone's pet? Would you like to slap on a collar and be walked around and, treated like someone's pet? Are
Here's-
you owned by someone? And some CEOs like to be treated like that because they want to relinquish the control that they have to exhibit every single day at work. They want to come home and just be submissive,
the majority of CEOs that are running big successful companies are actually certifiable as psychopaths. No, it's not even a joke. It's a legitimate character trait of people who are in those type of powerful positions. They are typically legitimate psychopaths. So,
well, they're narcissists, they're
narcissistic psychopath, a lot of them are sociopaths, but here's the thing: a lot of those people that are into that, especially like the CEO powerful figure types, it's not even their wives that are doing it. They're like paying somebody to step on their balls with high heels and degrade them and shit.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
that's
Yeah,
their-
it's got to be someone they don't normally associate with, because they don't want anybody to know about this side of them,
until it's Stormy Daniels.
Yes, exactly. Until,
Her and I-
it
her and I
blows
would
up in their face.
Stormy Daniels and I went at each other, I guess about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when the whole thing came out that he's been paying her. And I said something like, she tweeted something about, him paying her. And I said, you can collect all that money, but you can't unsuck his dick. And she fucking unloaded on me that I never sucked his dick and all this and all her fucking.
You really met her?
No, I didn't meet her. This was a fucking on Twitter.
Oh.
And she had her fucking fans were ganging up on me and shit. And it was hilarious. It was a good time. Of course, everybody had the same negative thing to say. You're fat. Or, shit.
Oh, good
Maybe
one.
Bang your mom.
Well,
So,
I mean,
What other weird fetishes have you found? Have you explored on them internets besides furries? The furries to me is that, like, I can't even, like, that's like some things, like I could be like, all right, I could see how somebody could get down with that. But like, I just think of how much I sweat and shit. Like furry, no, that's no bueno.
it seems I need to have physical contact. I can't see how you can get turned on without having physical contact between, one person to another. I need a man's touch on my body. I can't see like somebody slapping their paw on me, and just
Everybody likes to dunk their Oreo cookie in a different way. So
to each his own. I couldn't see. So anyway, well, BDSM, that I'm a fan. I'm a fan. To an extent, there's different, there's many different ranges, no humiliation, but there's no
level.
humiliation. That's not my gig, but it seems to be like it's exploding in popularity all over the place.
I don't necessarily think it's exploding in popularity, more so as it's becoming more and more mainstream. So people are more comfortable with exploring that side of themselves.
Right.
Where you think, I'm trying to think of a good example of something that was, underground and now is more prevalent. But,
Well,
it's
50 Shades, you
well,
know, brought
that
it out.
damn good example, even though it's actually pretty fucking vanilla. And if 50 Shades of Grey took place in a fucking trailer park, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds and not some sort of a bullshit romantic movie. I saw the first two movies, fucking awful. I don't know how good the books are, but I'm guessing they're shit too. Side note, because I'm going to shit on things. People that write those type of books are usually the most unfuckable people you could ever meet. Just so you know.
Well, I've actually never seen the writer of that book, but I heard the book is fantastic, but they had to make the movie so tame that, they really couldn't do much, with it.
Well,
But
things like that have made it more acceptable in polite society to be into that
of
sort of.
course, of course. But, the gist of it, I mean, it was hot as anything. It was hot. I mean, did you not see the movies?
No, I saw the first two movies. I fucking hated them. I was hoping, and I found that was it in the second one, the helicopter crash, and I was pissed off he didn't actually die. I was hoping he would.
Oh, will you stop?
That Dakota Johnson is just fucking annoying.
I just thought that the whole agreement and everything, that was just over the top. I really did not. It was just ridiculous. So don't touch me. You can only touch me at certain times and blah,
But
blah,
that's
blah.
why I said, I mean, if that took place in a trailer park as opposed to in a fucking mansion, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds.
Yeah, I could say yes. If he was not a multi-billionaire or whatever, yes, it would have been much different.
The
People
biggest
would have been shitting on him from day one. Yeah.
the biggest thing with a lot of these fetishes is it's taking place between two consenting adults, or it better be between two consenting adults. So
Mhm.
whatever one wants to do behind their bedroom doors with whomever, whether it's one person or 50 fucking people,
Mhm.
who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Just go do and have fun. Enjoy the fuck out of it. It's consensual.
And-
You don't hurt
And
anybody.
the biggest,
Wow.
yeah, and the biggest misconception is with BDSM, everybody seems to think, a lot of people seem to think that it's got to be degrading, and oh, it's so terrible, like, oh, and how do you let people do that to you, as far as men to women? But it's actually, most of the time it is an agreement that you have between the two of you. It should be two consenting adults that it actually empowers both people
Here's the
greatly,
thing about it. In a true and proper dom sub relationship, the sub is actually the one with all the power, not the dom.
Mhm.
The other way around, then that's just abuse, and that's wrong. So people miss, people
Yeah,
who don't know,
exactly.
they know shit, will mistake abuse for a true a true dom sub relationship.
Mhm.
Need to fucking learn what the fuck's going
It's
on.
all about trust. It is the number one rule about the relationship is trust. You always have an understanding from day one, and if you don't have that understanding, then you don't have anything.
And that should be the case with any type of relationship, especially any type of a sexual relationship. It should be obviously consensual between both parties, and both parties should be fully understanding as to what they're getting into.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why, I want to try and, as we talk about these things and, discuss different types of relationships, with anything over 40 and these kinks that we're going to talk about. And I hope we can get into certain things, and speak to different people if they want to chime in and give us some, input. I want to, clear up misconceptions, and I want to do more homework, and help people understand as much as we can. And I want you and I to learn as much as we can about these topics. What do you think?
Knowledge is power.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
but more so, I mean, I do happen to know a lot. I have a lot of friends that are in various lifestyles. So I ask questions and I have no problem with asking questions. So, but the biggest thing with this is not only is not so much for me to learn shit, is to kind of spread the word to other people, educate others is crucial. Do you know that there is an event every August in St. Petersburg here in the Tampa Bay area called FetCon? It's a fetish convention.
FetCon?
FetCon.
Really? Oh, I'm gonna write this down.
Yeah, they're official. They got like a website and shit. But
Oh.
I have friends that perform in that, and it's a thing, and that's something that perhaps 20 years ago or so couldn't have existed. And I mean, they don't hide that event. I mean, they advertise publicly. It
Where
draws.
does it take place? Like all over? Or?
There's a few bunch of establishments in the downtown St. Pete area. Like the Central Ave.
Mhm.
That strip. They book out a hotel, and it's a big event.
Mhm.
Forget how many people attend it, but I have friends that go and attend it every year. That's their thing.
Well, it sounds really cool. I mean, I would love to attend that. And you know what? A friend of mine just brought this up that, before I started to experiment with, BDSM and things like that, I've had deeper, more meaningful sexual relationships. And I've actually been able to release more and to have deeper, sensual, more sexual relationships that meant more, literally, like a deeper connection spiritually with the person, and was able to connect, if you believe it or not, more in a loving way, because you were able to release your inhibitions more, than to be embarrassed about things as I used to be when I was younger, So I released all that anger, and things I was carrying around with me, before, all that anger and like embarrassment about my body or about my day and things like that, and I was able to release it more with BDSM than I was as opposed to any other, time in my life.
It's incredibly important to be comfortable in what you're doing, not only for yourself, be comfortable with who you are, but be comfortable with what's going on.
Mhm. Like
when
I found it easier to do it while doing things like that, BDSM, as opposed to, just regular sex. Isn't that, that's how I explored myself more.
That makes sense.
You
But
I felt more empowered to do so.
Because that's what it's supposed to be about. That it truly. But I think the reason why it's becoming more and more prevalent, or people's fetishes and kinks are becoming more and more talked about, is because a lot of the stigmas are going away. And one of the big things to that is the advancement of the LGBTQ movement, or LGBTQ plus movement, and people just being a little bit more open. But what's crazy is, as open as we think we are, this country is just so repressed.
Oh, I know, compared to others.
It's mind blowing that at one end you could be so, so open, and at the same time, be so close. It's a weird juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm. I know. And meanwhile, we show everything's all over the place, and, exposing our children to everything. And meanwhile, we're not talking about it the way we should. responsibly, you know?
That's a big thing that needs to happen.
Hmm.
That's what we're here for. What the fuck?
Yep.
Not just jokes. We're here to talk about actual dick or something. I don't.
Yeah. You know, but we're here. You and I are here to start this conversation responsibly, aren't we?
We're here to educate the masses or some shit.
Hey, as best we can.
That's true. or at least make it look good trying. But you know, I think it's super important for everybody to understand that any kind of thing like that, it has to be consensual. There, no means no.
Mhm.
Yes means yes, and sometimes duct tape turns no into Hey, if that's your thing, I'm not judging. This is 2022. Nobody should be judging anybody as long as it's legal and safe.
Exactly. And if your safe word is keep going, then, hey.
There is only one safe word that ever matters, and that safe word is meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
You know why?
Why?
Because he would do anything for love, but he won't do that. So that's why. So
All right.
what other fetishes or kinks do you got?
All right. Well, there's always dirty talking. Dirty talking will always get the party started. Always.
Now to educate the masses a little further on that, there is a big difference between potty mouth and dirty talking. I am really good at potty mouth. That's why I say things like fuck, shit, piss, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits on a regular fucking basis. But that's not the same as dirty talk.
That's different. That's different.
Fill us in on the dirty talk.
I can't. I just. How do you expect me to do that on here?
Talk dirty to the audience. Get them moist. I love that word, moist.
You're probably the only person on earth that enjoys the word moist.
Nah, I think there's a couple others. I like saying it just to get cringing.
I think you just want to make a woman feel like she is just being completely at your mercy. That's the way I enjoy being made to feel. Like I just want to be taken. I want to be, God, I hope my family is not listening, and I want you to stop listening if you are listening.
Everybody, earmuffs.
Earmuffs. Women just want you to take charge, and I'm gonna say the majority of them say what you want us to do. Tell us, make eye contact, let us know what to do, when to do it, and demand us to do it.
Here's one of the things, as a guy, that can get confusing as fuck, because the minute you start telling a woman what to do and how to do it, all of a sudden you're fucking mansplaining. Now, for you women out there, mansplaining.
Not in the middle of sex, you're not.
No, but just for the women out there who don't know, mansplaining is when a man condescendingly explains something to you.
Oh, hell yeah, but not when you're banging her.
No, you just missed a joke. I just mansplained mansplaining. Come on.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I mean, you do it so often, it just goes right over my head.
What, mansplain?
Mansplaining happens so often that I barely even notice it anymore.
Anytime a woman says to me, "Oh, you're mansplaining," I ask them, "Can you explain to me?"
Of course, yeah. I swear to God, it happens all the time. But women, unless you're a complete asshole, most women are not gonna bust your balls over it all the time.
Oh, I've had it. Well, I happen to be a complete asshole most of the time, and
No, I'm saying a woman, if she's gonna bust your balls about it, especially
I've-
during sex, then she's an asshole.
I've never had anybody bust my balls about it during sex, but I've had women bust my, you're mansplaining, and then I asked them to tell me what mansplaining is, and then they woman-splain mansplaining to me. And I point out the fact that they just did it, and then they get pissed off and they storm away and they can go fuck themselves. At that point. Anyway,
How about playing dress up?
that's a good one. That like with the furry, that's a big. There's a big difference between
Yeah,
playing
not
dress
that.
up where you're talking about like either in a regular costume, like, hey, we're gonna role play as pirates tonight, and I'm gonna take that booty. Big difference between that and which are still to this, I will still say that's just a creepy one. But there is a big difference. There is a big difference.
Well, I'm talking about, what a man wants his woman to look like. I think it's really important that a woman should feel sexy and empowered. And I think she should try to put on anything that makes her feel, a little different, something she wouldn't normally wear and special, I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit sometimes, so I gotta repeat what you say.
Oh, I said it's something, you got to dress to wear something special.
Yeah, even if it's a little pair of heels or a little nightie, something a little bit different, I think
from a guy's perspective, this is the best way I can explain something like that. And like, why do you have to have your woman wear something? You're going to end up naked anyway. See, here's the thing. If you walk down when you were a kid, if you walked down the stairs or went into the living room where the Christmas tree was on Christmas morning and all the presents were unwrapped, how fucking fun is that? It's not. You need to unwrap your gift. That's where play.
Yes. Or you need to watch your gift, bend over.
That is very true. But that's the thing is, where it should be a special event. It's not something that should truly be taken lightly
or taken for granted.
Very true.
You can't take these things for granted. If you have a beautiful woman, and especially if she's making an effort for you, it's just a great way to see each other in a different light,
Now, hang on. I need a woman's perspective on this. So it's obvious guys like when women dress up and wear sexy things, but is there something that women want guys to wear in the bedroom like that?
In the bedroom, I would say most likely maybe different underwear. I would say maybe a different pair of underwear, maybe some nice expensive underwear that feels nice, some boxer briefs drive me nuts. I love boxer briefs, but good quality ones, that feel good, show every nice curve,
All right, I get it.
But there's not much, I don't want, there's not much to choose from unless you want to dress up like a chick or a furry.
Normal go-to is I will wear nothing but a smile and one strategically placed sock. I call that sockalophagus.
Yes. Do you find that sock in your son's drawer?
No.
Your toddler son's drawer? No.
My son's definitely not a toddler. Kid's fucking.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Here's a joke for you. Why did the sperm cross the road?
I don't know.
Because my son put the wrong sock on.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny.
It is.
Here's another fun fact. Do you know why so many men have foot fetishes?
Why?
Because they lost their virginity to a sock.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
very good one. I
I
like
didn't-
that one.
Stole it, but hey, it's funny and it fits. So-
Okay.
So-
Um,
Listen up, that's important.
let's see, voyeurism.
That's a huge one. That one's actually probably one of the more prevalent ones. I mean, we're
Mhm.
almost getting conditioned to that with the amount of fucking porn we watch. If you want to see a fine example of how voyeurism has become so fucking popular, you just look at the websites like OnlyFans, where you're paying money to see random broads do whatever.
Right.
So voyeurism is again another one that's coming more and more mainstream.
Mhm.
From the voyeur's perspective than the actors. I guess the ones doing the watching is more prevalent than, or more mainstream than the ones being watched. Mainly because to be the ones being watched, you're either in a place where it's accepted or you're doing something illegal, which is frowned upon in civilized and polite society.
Right. And these women are making, or men are making tons of money and all they do is what? Subscriptions, or
Yeah.
how do they
It-
do this stuff?
I have some friends
I
that
don't
do it. It's a monthly subscription base. They can send out things that pictures, videos that can be paid additional. I know some that have no monthly subscription and pay, they charge a lot for the content.
Mhm.
And there are some I've seen
And
some
you
that
make your own prices of how you want to do things, right?
yeah, it's you set it up so you determine what your value is and go from there. And I've had conversations with some friends of mine that do it, and the question was, what should the price be? And essentially what I told her was, go look at what others of similar style are charging, and go from there. You go up, go down from there, but that's kind of where you want your jump off point. But
Right.
ultimately, and this isn't just for that, it's any realm of any kind of performer. You got to know your fucking worth and don't take a penny less. Shit, just on the comedy end, I had somebody contact me today asking me to do a private party, a 30-second birthday party for her boyfriend. And I said, okay. And she gave me the details, the when, the where, the what. And she did not like the price I gave. It was I was way too much and ridiculous for asking that. Well, to be honest with you, lady, I'd rather not do the fucking show and not get paid than cut my fucking worth down. Fuck that
Right.
shit. So
All right.
any kind of performer, whether you're an adult performer or not, you need to know your worth. And that's the biggest thing with those websites, is knowing what your worth is. I've seen some that were just ridiculously priced and some that probably should have been charging more.
Sure. Well, at least you have the option, and they give you the option. Nowadays you could do whatever you want. Now with the internet, man, you're your own boss. It's fantastic.
And what's funny, what's interesting is it's not only adult type content that you can set your own boss, but there are people out there that are making tons of fucking money doing all kinds of other content, like legitimate mainstream, not dirty content. So that's the
Yeah.
beauty of the internet, is you can fucking make money somehow. That's key.
I know. Somebody's going to teach me how to do that.
I can put you in contact with some people. They can give you some pointers. And,
Oh, I'm not saying this website. No, I don't think I can do this one. No, I could never do that. Not that. I could talk about all
to be
these
honest with you, that's
things.
probably the easiest form to make money, because sex sells.
Oh, sex sells. Well, I love talking about it. You and I can talk about it all day long and stuff.
Do you know
But
how fucking hard it is to try and make money in a non-adult fashion on the internet? It is so fucking hard, because I've been trying for years. Paid off yet.
Well,
Coming
we
down to
have
the-
information. We have information, and I'm just going to keep on doing the hard work and homework to bring the best information I possibly can to our viewers and see see
So-
how many people can be interested in our dribble.
So on that note, it's just about time to wrap it.
All right.
What are your final thoughts and final advice? Final advice for the week. What do you got to tell the masses?
Well, I absolutely thank everybody for listening to us. And I again love you, Roger. And I absolutely think that everybody should check out these websites. I think they're really cool and they have really fun ways of finding out what kind of fetishes you might have. And if you want to go for a really cute website to find a good date, if you're into these little quirks and fetishes, as opposed to going to regular dating sites like Facebook or Tinder or something like that, this might be a fun alternative for you to find, somebody a little quirky. If you have different interests in bed, I think that might be a nice, little alternative to the, regular people on those regular sites.
There we go. So check that out, people. Explore your sides, explore everything, be happy, be comfortable. That's the show for the week. Appreciate everybody watching. Big thanks again to Mike at the Internet Radio Network. We do this every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States. If you're watching from other countries, it'll be whatever the fuck time it translates to. Do the math yourself. I'm not going to fucking do it. So that's it. You can follow me on all social media at Real Roger Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe to this channel. Also subscribe to my cooking channel, Sugar, Salt, Fat, and Booze. New content coming out on that. Jenica, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
It's been fun. We'll do this again next week.
Absolutely.
Take care,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye-bye.